The conference is about maternal child health and well-being. The focus is on children and welcoming children into the world, but every single presentation has talked about the relation of women and children, and the focus has been primarily on pregnancy, birth, and newborns and early childhood. The general perspective, which I find compelling, creative, very representative of Pope Francis, is to look at access to health resources and equity, particularly disparities between the rich and poor, but also the exclusion of women from many health resources and other social resources. So I think this really bears the stamp of Pope Francis's papacy and his emphasis on the Church of the Poor.
I was asked to address the topic of birth and migration, and basically I focused on 3 points. One was that, first of all, we have to be sure that that potential migrants could be born, and there's still a great deal of forced contraception, forced sterilization, and forced abortion among migrant and refugee people, imposed by some agencies, even of the UN, imposed by governments, and imposed by other groups. So first of all, they need the right to be born. The second one then was that we need to make sure that migrant children have a right to an identity. Many times when people are fleeing their home countries, they flee without documents, and there's no proof of where they're citizens of. And especially if a child has been born along the way or in the new country, if you don't have proof of where you're from, then you can't really prove your child's origins either. And then the final thing that I raised was the fact that once a child is born, they need a right to life for the whole life, not just be able to be born. And therefore, they also need access to social services. They need the access to being integrated into a new society. And on that issue of integration, I believe that Pope Francis is very strong in pointing out that that's a two-way street. A lot of times we think that receiving refugees and migrants is only for us to do for them. They're the objects of our care and our sympathy and our solidarity. But the fact is that there's a two-way street, that migrants and refugees bring gifts and richness and cultures and values to enrich our societies, the receiving societies, as well.